Start recording. Stop recording. Button.
Hey everyone, this is James, your openly gay and blind metalhead here. So I'm out with another video, and I mentioned here a few nights ago that I'd be out with something here soon, but I didn't make any promises on it, and I'll continue not to do that because I don't. I'll continue to not make proclamations about release dates for videos in a set in stone sort of way because, as I said the other night, I don't really do this too often, and I don't want to set a trend of saying, "Oh, video will be out on this night or whatever," or 2 nights from now, and I get distracted and not end up doing it. So, but I did say a few nights ago, however, that I would have something coming out here soon, and I also, if I remember, I left off with saying that this channel, while having to do with metal primarily, is also going to deal with issues that are non-metal music, rather than me creating a separate channel to talk about all that stuff. But anyway, this is going to be a non-metal music video, so I just want to let everybody know that, and certain references to, yes, this is going to be a non-metal music video, and then this is also going to be a video that deals a little bit with the disabilities community. And so with that in mind, I wanted to just also let people know that with disability being an issue in this video, now's the time to give somewhat of a trigger warning that ableism will be referenced a few times, and if you feel like that's something you can't really hear about, then you should probably click off this video. So anyway, let's get into it. With me, I always start my videos with talking about how I'm your quote-unquote openly gay and blind metalhead. Well, yeah, I'm blind, and I also have a prosthetic leg, and this gets into what I really wanted to talk about in this video, and that is we basically have just a couple of different responses that we get whenever we go to disclose our disabilities to mainly the non-disabled and the sighted. And they're usually things like, "Oh, well, oh, how terrible," or "Oh, that's so sad," or "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." I'm getting increasingly, as the years go by, my patience in recent years with those typical ableist responses, my patience back then with that was, while somewhat limited, is now at this point at 0, and I have to practically clench my fist to the point where my fingernails are almost digging into my palms, to not go on a tirade about that, at least not to the people themselves. But I wanted to talk about that issue of those responses that I just recited that we usually get. And again, those responses usually go from, "Oh, how horrible," or "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "Oh, how sad," or let me rephrase that second one, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." So I'll also warn you too that this video is probably going to get really heated. So if you're not someone who wants to hear me go off, yeah, click off the video and go to something else, because I'm not going to hold back on my opinions, but I'm not here to traumatize anyone either intentionally. Now, having said that, so with these typically three responses, these three ableist responses, particularly the one where they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." Well, last time I checked, that's what you say when someone dies. That's what you say when your when your parent or a sibling or your spouse or a pet dies. Now, someone could start on a tangent about all this metaphysical, metaphysical Pavlum, pseudo-philosophical bullshit about, well, in a sense, you lost your limb, you lost your sight. That is a death in a sense. And to that I say, how the fuck would you know, my darling little ableist? How would you know that? Because death implies that would be the end of something. That implies that things are now at an end. And the problem with that is that when you look within the disabilities community, you have people who've found different ways to, or what we call adaptive ways to get the same things as people who are not disabled and who are sighted actually get done. Whether it be adaptive cooking skills, adaptive cleaning skills, adaptive software on their computers that make it talk or enlarge the print on the screen for them, or braille displays where you can actually read the stuff in braille. If you're someone who's a blind computer user or whatever, and who doesn't use print but uses braille, or adaptive ways to read books, whether it be audio books, braille books, or large print books. So if we're going to accept the response of, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that," or "Oh, how sad," or "What a tragedy," you're implying that that are becoming disabled, or whether we be disabled shortly after birth, at birth, or late into our lives, those responses imply that something's been lost or that something's at an end. Well, if we found adaptive ways to do things in the blindness community or the disabilities community, well, then I think the question becomes, one, how are we really truly disabled in a way that ruins our quality of life and holds us back? And also, how are we really at an end of being able to do anything if we found adaptations? So really nothing's been lost. So the responses of, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that," "Oh, how sad," "Oh, I'm sorry about that," "Oh, what a tragedy," are really responses that continue to paint disability in general, and especially blindness in particular, as it continues to paint them in a negative light, and even a problematic and even dark light, as well as basically continuing to perpetuate ableism. Now, obviously, there's going to be people who might say, well, when the system doesn't work and it's not helping you get the adaptations you need, then that can be very limiting. Yes, that can be, but we're not talking about systemic ableism, and we're not talking about ableism at the systemic level at this point. We can get into that at another point, and I probably will do a video on that. But whether or not you're having systemic issues that cause this or not, these responses still need to be called out, because there's still things that the disabled have been able to do on their own to enhance their quality of life. So to continue to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that," is to put forth the notion that disability, in a sense, is kind of a death of sorts, and it's not. If anything, it can enhance life if you know how to find really good adaptations. So I think what the proper response would be when we disclose our disabilities to someone, and there are people with disabilities who, and I think this is more by reflex than really any planned response they say, we still have some people with disabilities who will say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that about the blindness," or whatever the case might be. And as I said, I think that's still a bit of a kind of a reflex. It's not something they literally plan to say, or anything like that. And then they are trying to find something to say, rather than just like not responding at all. But I think that the response when you're disclosing your disability that people should be giving would be something like, "Okay, thank you for letting me know. Is there anything I can do to help with any of that?" Or, "Thank you for telling me that, and would you mind explaining further about the situation?" And then they can respond in kind with whatever response they want to give. Whether they want to give a response, or if they want to just move on to something else. So that's the video for tonight. Let's stop giving condolences to the disclosure of disabilities and save the condolences for when people actually do pass away. I don't know what the next video is going to be about. It's probably going to be a metal-related video, but it might even be a non-metal-related video, because I have a couple other things that I was actually just thinking of when I was talking here just a couple seconds ago. But I'll probably write those ideas down and do videos on them at a later time. So I'll be finishing up the video now, and in case anyone was wondering, in terms of the music I was playing, we're currently listening to the Beloved Antichrist album by Therion. I have to have my music on when I'm doing stuff, so it makes things go by a little bit faster. But anyway, that's the video for this evening. If you like the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So have a good evening, and thank you for watching.
Stop recording.